Hey everyone, happy new year and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who have been wondering, I kind of took a break from YouTube, but I'm back. I hope everyone had a really good new year. So to start with, pharmacy school was really an adaptation. Adaptive. Pharmacy school was an adaptive process for me because I soon learned I didn't really know how to study as well as I thought I did. So to start with, when I first started pharmacy school, I was really excited about the journey, but I soon found out it wasn't really what I anticipated my pharmacy journey to be. When the semester first started, I was having a lot of issues adapting to the curriculum and getting adjusted on just overall how pharmacy school works in general. In addition to that, I was dealing with a lot of personal issues, and for those of you who don't know, I do struggle with ADHD, so that did make my transition into pharmacy school a lot harder. One thing I want to say about pharmacy school is I wouldn't necessarily say that pharmacy school is hard. I would just say it's really a lot of information at once, and I think it's a learning curve and an adaptation process, and it'll really teach you about what you know about yourself and what you don't know about yourself. For example, I specifically learned that I didn't know how to study, and that was something that I really struggled with because compared to undergrad, it was like in undergrad I was able to get away without really doing much studying, whereas pharmacy school, that didn't really work for me because I'm in 4, 5, 6 classes at the same time, and each of those classes require an in-depth amount of knowledge, and for me it was difficult for me because I wasn't able to retain the information that I was learning. And in addition to that, I was just having a hard time adapting and staying focused. So I would say it went pretty well. To be completely transparent, my first 2 exams of pharmacy school just didn't go well for me at all. I don't want to say that I failed them, but in my definition, I failed my first 2 exams, and it was a humbling process for me because I don't know, it was just a bit difficult for me. I'm not really someone who likes asking for help, but I soon learned that I had to do that. And something that I really recommend once you're in pharmacy school is talking to your professors. I think sometimes we forget that they're human beings too, but luckily with the help of my professors, I was able to secure, for the most part, all A's and finish my semester strong. In the beginning of the semester, I was really struggling a lot mentally and just with a lot of personal issues, but I think by being transparent and just being honest with my professors and letting them know, like, yeah, I am struggling with this material. Do you have any suggestions and tips on how I can improve as a student? That really helped me in going to office hours and just, I don't know, persevering through the semester. But I have to say, at my school, it's really interesting because they kind of stay on top of you, but I feel like most students wouldn't know this because if you're doing well, then you have nothing to worry about. But for me, it was like I was already feeling really bad about myself. Like, I didn't have my ADHD under control. I was doing really bad. I did really, really bad on the first 3 exams of the semester, and then, as if I wasn't already feeling bad about myself, there's this pharmacy auntie at our school who like meets with students, and she's supposed to help you with your adaptation process. And I was meeting up with one of my friends and studying, and then I get an email from her, and the email was like, "Hello Precious, I'm writing to you to let you know that you are underperforming in 1 or more classes." I was just like,
are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
wow, like, my goodness. But luckily I was able to meet with her, and she gave me some tips and study strategies on how to improve, and that really ended up helping me. But yeah, also like having support, that was really interesting too. An older pharmacy student that I met a couple years ago through a pharmacy camp was able to connect me with a couple of her friends who she knew had struggled before when they first started, and some of those people were really able to help me later in the semester. So that was really helpful to me. But I do have to say, it was really, I don't know, the first semester of pharmacy school, it was a humbling process overall. I don't know, I was really happy that I was able to turn things around for the most part. Another thing, I soon learned that pharmacy school is really different from undergrad. In undergrads, your courses weren't really aligned with each other, but here, I have to say every single one of our classes were intertwined. Say we were doing a class on the top 200 drugs. The drugs we'd be learning that week were in line with another class we were taking called patient assessment, which is when we do patient interviews and apply our knowledge there. And then another class we were taking, self-care. I really liked how everything was related and intertwined, but it also pushes you to kind of keep up and stay with the workload. One thing that was really different about pharmacy school was I noticed that the exams kind of come in waves. So in undergrad, it was kind of like, oh, you have an exam whenever, or if you had bad luck, you would have multiple exams in 1 week. But with pharmacy school, it was more so kind of like a wave. It was like back to back to back exams. Like sometimes you would have an exam in every class in 1 week. So that was something that was really different. I don't know, in pharmacy school, I don't know, with how my life was going, I really just was not having the energy to go to class. And that's something I never dealt with in undergrad. Like in undergrad, I literally went to like every single class. I never missed a class. Whereas pharmacy school, there were some classes where it's like,
I need to take it easy, otherwise I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
I don't want to say I was unmotivated because that's when I ended up being most motivated, but I was really just like attending most of my lectures from Zoom towards the end of the class because I was just so like kind of over the semester. I'm really defeated, but I don't know. I would say if I can do it and I can turn things around for myself, then you can too, because something about me is I've never really been the smartest in the room, but I'm typically pretty hardworking and I overcome a lot of obstacles set my way, so that was really helpful. I think I was definitely suffering from imposter syndrome a lot because I don't know, it's just kind of hard going into class every day, and then especially with the first few exams, everyone was like, oh, I got an A, I got 100, I got it this, and I got it that, and I was just there like, I don't know, I'm really like struggling with this material. And that's also what motivated me to kind of start getting my ADHD treatment under control, because I don't know, I really tried it without medication, but it wasn't sustainable for me. I think sometimes you just need to be honest with yourself, and it's like I tried it without the medication, but for me, it was just so difficult staying focused and completing a task at hand. For example, sometimes I would just sit down and try and study, and then I would find myself staring at my computer screen and 2, 3, 4 hours had gone by. So I just wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't able to be as successful of a student as I was until I was able to get on medication, which really ended up helping me. But yeah, I have to say, going on medication, personally, it really helped me. Like, there's a lot of stigma behind it because I was kind of like, I don't know, I really don't want to go on medication, but I have to say it really did wonders for me. Like, I went from literally failing a bunch of exams in the middle of the semester to securing almost all A's at the end of the semester. So that was really helpful for me.